7.5. Inverse proportion. Inverse proportion is when an increase in one quantity causes a decrease in another. The relationship between speed and time is an example of inverse proportionality. As the speed increases, the journey time decreases. So the time for a journey can be found by dividing the distance by speed. So from physics, we know that speed is equal to distance over time. We can see this by looking at the odometer on maybe our parents' car as they're driving. Or we might see this in physics written out as a V, still representing speed. And so we also know that time is distance divided by speed. And so this is an inverse proportion. And as we go faster, then the amount of time it takes for our journey, the distance, will decrease. Example 1. Ben rides his bike at a speed of 10 miles per hour. How long does it take him to cycle 40 miles? Alright, well, let's look at our equation. We have time equals distance divided by speed. So our distance is 40 miles. These are not SI units, but they're used in the States. And we're going to divide that by speed, which is 10 mph. That's miles per hour. We can just write that mi as a short form per hour. Okay, so 40 divided by 10. The number is 4. And we need to figure out these units, so we'll do an aside here. Miles can also be written as miles over 1. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to make a big fraction here, and miles per hour I'm going to write out as miles over hour. Okay, so when we have one fraction divided by another fraction, we can figure out what the answer is by multiplying the numerator by the reciprocal of the denominator. So what does that mean? That means if we take the numerator, which is miles over 1, we multiply that by the reciprocal of the denominator. Okay, so that is going to be hours over miles. And here we can see that miles will cancel. We'll have hours over 1, which is hours. So if we look at the units on their own, and we take miles divided by miles per hour, we actually end up with hours, which is correct because that should be a time. So 4 hours. B. On another day, he cycles the same route at a speed of 16 miles per hour. How much time does this journey take? Okay, so we're going a different speed now. We're going to do time equals distance over speed, and our distance is still the same route, so 40 miles. 40 miles. But now we're going 16 miles per hour. 40 divided by 16, if we use our calculator, is 2.5. Time is 2.5 hours. So you can see as we go faster, we complete the journey in a shorter period of time. Example 2. Jai has to travel 280 miles. How long does it take if he travels at 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour? And then finally, how much time does he save if he travels at the faster speed? So just like the first example, distance over speed. Here we're going 280 miles, and we're doing that at 50 miles per hour. And 280 divided by 50, if we use our calculator, will come out to 5.6 hours. Now B. What if we travel a little bit faster? Okay, we're going 60 miles an hour here, so we're probably in a car. That's about 100 kilometers per hour. And 280 divided by 60, if we plug that into our calculator, we get 4.66 hours. So we're going faster. We should expect that the amount of time for the same journey will be a lower amount. Now, what's the difference between these two? The first one was 5.6 hours. The second one is 4.66 hours. If we subtract one from the other, we get 0.94 hours. And let's convert that to minutes. Okay, so we'll take 0.94 hours, and we're going to multiply that. There are 60 minutes in every hour. 60 minutes in 1 hour. You'll see that these hours cancel. We're left with minutes. 0.94 times 60 gives us 56. So 56 minutes. We save 56 minutes by traveling 10 10 miles per hour faster in our car on that journey. Example 3, and this one's a little bit different. In a factory, each employee can make 40 chicken pies in 1 hour. So how long will it take for these following situations? Let's look at A. How long will it take for 6 people to make 40 pies? Alright, so first let's just think about this one. 40 people, or one person, okay, makes 40 chicken pies in 1 hour. Okay, so we want to know how many, or what's the time for 6 people to make 40 pies. Okay, well, if one person can make 40 pies in 1 hour, then we know the time is 1 hour for one person to make 40 pies. But we have 6 people on the job. Okay, so we can take 1 hour for the time and divide it by 6. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So we can also set this up as 60 minutes divided by 6. And 60 divided by 6 will give us 10 minutes. So 6 people will obviously make the job go quicker. How long will it take 3 people to make 240 pies? Okay, first let's find out how much that would take one person. Okay, one person makes 40 pies in 1 hour. Okay, so now we want to make 240 pies. Okay, we usually make 40 in an hour, now we want to make 240. 240 divided by 40 is equal to 6. So it would take one person 6 hours to make 240 pies. 6 hours would be the amount of time. But we don't have one person, we have 3 people. So we can divide that total time by 3. And 6 hours divided by 3 would be 2 hours total time. So that means that 3 people could make 240 pies in 2 hours. Finally, how long would it take 10 people to make 600 pies? It's a lot of pies, but 10 people are helping making that an easier or maybe a faster job. Okay, so 600 pies. One person can make 40 pies in an hour. So 600 divided by 40 means that it would take 15 hours for one person. One person can make 600 pies in 15 hours. So 15 hours is the total time for the job, but we have 10 people sharing that job. And 15 hours divided by 10 will give us 1.5 hours. And therefore, it will take 1.5 hours for 10 people to make 600 pies.